So I know you guys are aware of the events that are happening geopolitically. Um, I've heard everything from tanks going in from Belarus, going into northern Ukraine, to Ukrainians' navy being decimated in the southern regions where Crimea and the Black Sea, and of course, major invasions. I've heard that there were missiles, or actually cruise missiles, that are flying in Kiev. I know many of you guys saw the thing on TV where you saw the big explosion. Ukraine under a state of emergency, no-fly zones, the whole nine yards. Russia evacuating all its citizens, and apparently they're looking at doing the rehearsals that they did back when they evacuated for nuclear drills. I mean, I've heard everything just in the last hour. that literally, and again, a lot of this is what I call Twitter hype. Not to say some of it is not true. I'm saying Twitter hype can happen in a heartbeat. I mean, I'm getting all kinds of stuff. They're talking about going to lowering the DEF CON. I mean, I've heard a lot of things. I've been watching, and hopefully you guys are watching their Security Council, the live Security Council feed. I was gonna try to watch my good brother's live stream, but I have to, have my eyes on what's going on right now in this scenario going on globally. As we're seeing oil go through the roof, gold just soared like I haven't seen it soar in a long time. I mean, gold just took off like it's, like a rocket. The fear index just exploded to the upside. But again, I call it Twitter hype, because a lot of things like this have a tendency to normalize. It's like buy the rumor, sell the fact. I'm not saying tomorrow's not going to be World War III. It could happen. I seriously doubt it, but it could happen. I'm not saying that the world's going to go up in flames. But what I'm looking for is more of a sustained commitment. Now, I've got all my news feeds from Russia to Ukraine, to Poland, Belarus. I've got Spain. I'm getting all my news feeds and my Twitter feeds from everywhere around the world, just so I could get a little bit of a gauge of anything that might be more sustained in terms of activity, in terms of volatility, and in terms of commitment. I need to see sustained commitment. Now, keep in mind, the Russians this month have they're the head of the quote unquote Security Council. So anything that happens will be more than likely vetoed in a heartbeat. If you saw the Ukrainian UN representative, and he was basically at wit's end screaming, you got to talk to your so-called, Russian, bring them back to the table. Anything can happen. But I wanted to give you guys just a little heads up, because I was going to do this on a live stream, but I figured, I'm going to try to get back to my brother's live stream. Again, it's hard right now. There's so much going on geopolitically right now that I have to be on point just in case something really crazy does go down. So, and you really want to make sure you're at least keep one eye on markets and the other on current events. At least, I'm just telling y'all, black folk. I know we get involved in a lot of things that have to do with social media. Yours truly does it a lot. But right now, you might want to be more cognizant, looking at one eye on current events and then the other eye on markets. And I do that. The reason is you can pretty much predict the future. You could predict the future with it. As I said, just looking everything from commodities to the rush toward, like I said yesterday, it's about the cost of fear and the cost of money. I would like to do it in a live stream, but I would rather wait until my brother's live stream is done. But giving you the cost of fear, cost of money, and the cost of confidence. The cost of fear is up almost 10%. So the world got about 10% more volatile, okay, in terms of the cost of fear. In other words, this might be sustained. If this remains sustained, that means some heavy shit is going down. Excuse my language. And I think many of us might want to be very cognizant in terms of you got to be real careful. Keep one eye on current events. We could go ahead and enamor ourselves, and involve ourselves in the social apparatus, because it's fun. It's entertaining. We get to talk. We get to listen. We get to, entertain each other's thoughts, and, but I think you might want to really, really keep your eyes on what's going on right now. Nothing's sustained yet. So I can't say again, a lot of these things tend to revert to the back to the mean. So therefore a lot of the fear comes out of the markets, a lot of the cost of money reverts back to a mean, and a lot of this is quote unquote Twitter hype. We used to see it back in the days before Twitter, back in 2008. There's some new breaches in terms of levels where things have not been seen in 5 years, 10 years. And that's where I look for a sustained activity. When that is sustained, then you could take it out of the realm of Twitter hype. And then you're going to have to start really being cognizant more on what's important and a lot less onto things that might make you feel validated in terms of how your opinions, your social media apparatus, your social media presence, you're gonna have to. No, I don't want to say gonna. I say it's advisable that you might want to remix your priorities. Remix your priorities from involving yourselves in the things that are not necessarily impacting, and involve yourselves away from the things that are not impacting, and involve yourselves in things that might impact your day-to-day ongoings and your security. I'm just trying to be nice and tell you in a very politically alarmist type of way that you might want to be more in tune to what's happening in the world right now, because it will impact you one way or the other. The cost of money went down. I said that yesterday. It's the cost of bonds. When the cost of money goes down, everyone's running toward dollars. They're scared. If this is sustaining, i.e., sustaining into the next, trading session and whatnot, London's trading session, and then onward and onward, then you're going to be you're going to want to make some plans. I'm just going to say that much. You're going to really want to make some plans. Hopefully you've already had some. Hopefully you've had your prepping and things that you might have an interruption in terms of supply chains or services. Hopefully you've done your due diligence, said if something happens, then I have this contingency plan. Should internet service be interrupted? Should I not be able to go get my favorite beer or toilet paper, or even if I have to get new bullets? You're going to have to make sure, I don't want to say gonna, I'll say it's advisable that you have had your contingency plans together, hopefully. That's if I see sustaining commitment in terms of the cost of fear, the cost of money, and then the cost of commitment. When I say the cost of commitment, that's when you're looking at equities, your futures market on your equities. That's the cost of commitment. Is there a commitment for risk? If the commitment of risk not only falls, because a lot of times when it falls, it actually bounces back, because that's like what we call buying the dip, or it might be just a flush out. But if it's the sustained commitment that is literally the cost of risk goes down, that means people don't want risk. That means that there's something on the horizon that is not normal, something that you, Black folk, better be very cognizant. And again, you may want to change your priorities away from the things that make your social media validation feel good, and change your priorities into something you might need because you might not be able to get, like food, water, shelter, security, energy, information. It's not World War III by any means. And more than likely, it'll never get there. More than likely, this is, I wouldn't doubt that Putin and Biden are in on this together to say, let's save each other's ass because both of us need this. Both of us know this might be an advantage, a war that Biden needs and a war that Putin doesn't want. But as I say, when you got two white boys in a bar, anything can happen. And they're in the bar and they're drinking. And they're fixing to go cowboy, both the East, so-called East, and the so-called West, fixing to go cowboy. And anyone that's watched a Western from the days of the 50s to now, any Clint Eastwood, doesn't matter. Just watch one Western and you know how that ends up. The bar gets destroyed and one of the white boys gets shot, in a duel, or gets his ass whooped. The thing I have to just tell you guys, and major reason I'm putting this out, is there may be a color code change. If there is a sustained, in terms of the volatility, and I say it again, sustained. I always look for things that are sustained, because then you'll see that there's commitment in terms of, folks are more, or the world And those players in the world that are controlling things, unfortunately, we as black folk aren't, but things that are being controlled in this planet, when I see that commitment that's sustained, that means, you might want to start making some very serious plans. Right now, I believe the condition is green. If it goes to blue, you'll know. I'll let you know. If the alert goes to blue, if it skips over blue and green and gets to red, which is highly unlikely. Okay, to get to red, you would have to see a major leader get assassinated by the other party, that kind of thing. But if it does get to red, that 1% chance, you may want to go ahead and, again, revise your priorities. Again, it's a 1% chance it'll ever get to red. Blue is just like, it was kind of around, blue, it was green, I think it goes green, blue, red, black. I think it was around blue when it was COVID, but it wasn't really that impacting. We did raise it, and I think I raised it to green. I thought I raised it to green. I thought green was the next one. I may have to find out because it's on the other channel. But these are the color codes. And you'll see all the definitions of the color codes. It's in Twitter, Facebook. The color code is also on YouTube. The color codes are in all the social medias that yours truly is participating in. So if you see the alert system going from blue to red, then you're going to have to make some plans. Again, it's a 1% chance it'll get that way. Probably less than 1%. But I just want to let you know, look for the possibility or the probability of a color code change. That just means that you're going to have to, I won't say gonna, excuse me, I hate to say that. I hate to say that. I'm just saying, if it's a color code change, it's because there's a sustained commitment and some geopolitical nonsense. It's a really small chance that you'll get a color code change. Extremely small. I mean, I won't say imperceptible, but it's very small chance. But if I don't let you know this now, and it happens, then all of a sudden folks will be saying, oh man, So I'm just letting you know now. Although it's an extremely, almost bare minimal chance that you'll get a color code change, I've been looking at things close enough to say there is a possibility that may become a probability. If it becomes in the probabilistic era of a color code change, then you know that, you're going to want to have to keep one eye again on the markets and the other eye on current events. And you might want other things to take a back seat. Y'all take care.